With your CID-TV News Update, I'm Donna Bush. Thanks for joining me. The 2017 hurricane season is here, so we spoke with John Tibbetts, Director General of the local Met Office. He tells us what predictions have been made for the season, which doesn't end until November 30th.
Traditionally, the hurricane season usually starts out fairly slow and peaks in September, and then we have some late season storms that presents an issue to us at times. What would be of particular interest to a lot of people at this time is to try and look at the forecast to see what kind of season is being expected. And we kind of have a mixed bag of in terms of the prediction. We have two main sources. One source comes out of Colorado State University. And this is from the group that was originally headed up by the old elderman statesman of the group, as it were, Professor Gray. Unfortunately, Professor Gray has passed away, and he's now handed the torch on to a younger meteorologist, and he has produced a forecast for this season. Based on what he's looking at this season, he was calling for an average season, basically, with 11 named storms, 4 hurricanes, and 2 major hurricanes. And he noticed 2 things that he used as justification for that forecast. First, he said that he was expecting colder temperatures to continue to persist over the Atlantic Basin. This is something that would hinder the development of storms in the Atlantic Basin. The second thing he noted was that he was expecting at least a weak El Nino to develop. And the El Nino is also something, when it's present, also hampers the development of storms in the Atlantic Basin. So based on the 2 of those, he came up with the idea that we were going to have basically an average type season. Now, be aware that that forecast came out in early April of this year, and we had to wait until May to get the second forecast that we use, and that's from NOAA in the United States. Now, NOAA looks at things a bit differently, and they noticed a different environmental setup than the Colorado State. First, they noticed that the temperatures over the Atlantic Basin was not colder than normal, but was actually a bit warmer than normal. The other thing that they came up with a conclusion was that they were not expecting an El Nino. Now, the prediction of El Nino is something that is not an exact science. It is very difficult to predict. And so you can understand at times that there can be differences of opinion of what is going to happen. Based on that information, they predicted a bit more of an active season with 11 to 17 named storms and 5 to 9 hurricanes and 2 to 4 major hurricanes, which is a more active type season. Now, that forecast would have come out in late May, and so it would have had more current information. Usually the 2 forecasts are right spot on with each other. It happens this year that the 2 forecasts are slightly different. One saying average, one saying above average. At the end of the day, we will only remember it if perhaps if we have a major hurricane either come through the Cayman area or impact someplace close to us.
Some things to remember to do is to have an emergency kit, food and water supply, and property insurance. Now, for a complete checklist, you can go online to caymanprepared.gov.ky. Again, that's caymanprepared.gov.ky. The 2 female and 7 male new prison officers graduated earlier this week. Now, during the graduation, there was the inspection and drill demonstration, singing of the national song and anthem, presentation of special awards and certificates. The officers went through intensive training in the field and in the classroom. This class of 9 officers was selected from 207 applicants to fill the 9 vacant spots. We say congratulations to these new prison officers. Meantime, people suffering from severe arthritis and other joint disorders of the hip and knee have options for relief of their pain and medical condition through total hip and knee replacement surgery procedures now being offered at the Cayman Islands Hospital. 2 new doctors are now at the Cayman Islands Hospital doing those total hip and knee replacement surgeries, which are the most common forms of joint replacement surgeries, which help to get rid of the pain by removing the diseased cartilage and bone from the affected joint and replacing it with an artificial joint called a prosthesis. Joint disorders such as osteoarthritis affect many people right here in the Cayman Islands. The average duration of the procedure is actually 1.5 to 2 hours. During this time, the patient is under general anesthesia. Hospital stay post-operatively lasts from 2 to 5 days, and mobilization begins the same day of the surgery or a day after, which has so far performed 5 knee replacement surgeries and 2 hip replacement surgeries at the Cayman Islands Hospital since it began operating or servicing these types of surgeries back in September of 2016. Well, a master chess player visits the Cayman Islands. It has allowed some students to meet and play with him. Grandmaster Nigel Short from the UK played against 30 students simultaneously at the Georgetown Library on Tuesday this week. The library hosted the children's chess tournament, where Nigel, a former world champion challenger and one of the world's top players, took the time to play with the boys and girls. A fundraiser event for the Chess in Schools program was also held with those who could afford to play the master chess player, with all of those funds going back to the program. Well, if you missed today's news update, you can always go on the Cayman Islands Government Facebook page or our YouTube channel. For now, I'm Donna Bush, as always, thanking you for joining me, hoping you do the same again tomorrow. Until then, have a safe and wonderful night, and bye-bye for now.